Oh, what is going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. And I hope everyone is staying safe out there in those streets of Los Angeles. The rain is starting to come down real bad. That's why your boy got a beanie on. It's real chilly out there. But Lakers news just keeps on coming out as the second half of the NBA season is approaching. Second half actually starts today. The Lakers got a game tomorrow against the Los Angeles Clippers. Man, this Giannis onto the Kumpo and Lakers situation is starting to brew up real quick. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I got a lot of thoughts on this. And honestly, I don't think I'm for it. I don't think I'm for Giannis Antetokounmpo possibly going to the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm going to give my stance. But you already know what I have to do. I got to talk about the beautiful Pechanga Resort Casino. You can always play a perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino, the official Native American resort and casino of the Los Angeles Lakers. Skip the traffic. Head on over to Pechanga Resort Casino just off the I-15 in Temecula. Visit pechanga.com or call 888-PECHANGA for reservations and for more information. So, as you guys are aware, we were debating about this yesterday on the DeMarco and Travis afternoon show as far as would Giannis even be a good fit for Luka Doncic and the Los Angeles Lakers? So we had a little debate, we had a little discussion, and as I woke up this morning and I started to see more stuff being released in regards to Giannis, because honestly, we had the speculation that he was going to be on the move before the NBA trade deadline this season. And, he did his trolling moment. He was all over social media saying that he's not leaving, and then he's staying with the Milwaukee Bucks. And we possibly won't even see Giannis return due to his injury. He's been dealing with a lot of injuries this season. So all that stuff went down, correct? And then now, as you see what the Lakers' angle is supposed to be, with the whole new moves in the front offices, one of the presidents stepping down for the Lakers and Tim Harris, and you start to see a shift as far as both of the Buss brothers getting fired, and then adding in a whole new staff, and then Mark Walter and Andrew Friedman try to implement the Dodgers way into this Lakers franchise. And you think that there is actual plan going forward with the Los Angeles Lakers. You think that what is the one goal this summer in this offseason, and that is build the right team around Luka Doncic. And that is why I've always been in the stance, okay, if you're going to build the right team around Luka Doncic, why? And I always go back to this, is that he was at one of his best in those Dallas Mavericks years, meaning when they made it to the finals, you have to take in consideration who was on that roster. Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, two really good big men. They are able to swap out when necessary for that roster. PJ Washington, young, athletic wing guy who can also space out the floor in three-point range and has been a lot better off the dribble, and he can defend relatively well. Then who else do you add? You got Derrick Jones Jr. on that team. Good wing defender, also a lob threat, also improved in three-point shooting. Then who was alongside with Luka Doncic? I get it, another superstar, and Kyrie Irving, another guy to take the ball off of Luka Doncic's hands, create his own rock, get a little wiggle room. That's what the Dallas Mavericks team was shaped. And it was all into favor to building the right team as far as you got to have defensive 3-and-D wings and big men who are lobbed there for Luka Doncic. The Lakers got that as far as one guy, Austin Reeves, guy who can play off of Luka Doncic. They still got some things they need to work on. They have not played enough games yet. So that's another concern for the second half of the season and for the future, where the Lakers plan on giving Austin Reeves that contract extension. So when I hear that and I see that, I'm okay. Luka Doncic does have another guy that can create his own shot, get to the basket, and that is Austin Reeves. I'm not saying Austin Reeves is in the same boat as Kyrie Irving, but follow me. This is where I'm getting at. This is where it gets interesting. So you have that right now, okay? You have Luka Doncic, and possibly, I can always say that the Lakers are going to be more willing to give Austin Reeves that contract extension and bring him back. So then it makes it easier, in my eyes, to try to put in those little pieces to build around this team. LeBron James is going to be offloaded of his contract. He will not have that $56 million contract. The reason why he opted in. And then that's why you got Rui Hachimura, another expiring contract. Gabe Vincent was traded away. He was expiring contract. But Luke Kennard, he's going to be in the free agency market going into this offseason. So the Lakers got some cap space heading into this offseason. And they also are going to be able to offload of 3 first-round picks. All right? So I woke up this morning and I saw an article in regards to Sam Amick of The Athletic saying the Lakers are potentially going to be all in this summer for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Okay, all in. So you know what that tells me is that those 3 first-round picks, if they're going to be all in, the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be looking at that. They're going to be looking for the Lakers to trade at least 2 of those, in my eyes. What other asset do the Lakers really have to trade in order to get Giannis Antetokounmpo? And this is where it gets interesting, all right? Giannis Antetokounmpo is under contract with the Milwaukee Bucks through the 2026-2027 season. This is the details of his contract. He is at $54 million this season. He'll be at $58 million next season. And then he has a player option in the 2027-28 season. The Lakers will be eating into that contract for Giannis Antetokounmpo if they were able to make a trade. Okay? And now you got to think about it is that that's a possibility that the Lakers were going to try to do that. Would they even be able to sign a guy like Austin Reeves? Are you willing to move on for Austin Reeves to get, again, a great talent, NBA champion, a superstar, Giannis Antetokounmpo? You have to strongly consider, we possibly wouldn't be able to make that work by getting both of them on the roster. Because you have to be looking at that as Lakers could possibly, if they do go all in for Giannis, how in the hell are they going to make all the salary stuff match? Again, that's deep in the wounds. But that's just what I'm just thinking. This is hypothetically all I'm thinking. All right? This is not even the basketball fit. And I'm definitely going to get into that. This is just the basketball fit. But this is what I'm just saying. Like, isn't the plan supposed to be no more superstar guys? No more putting 3 superstars to a team? I am not for that notion anymore. I'm not for that. This is not the Miami Heat with D-Wade, Bosh, and LeBron. This is not the Golden State Warriors with KD, Steph, Clay, Draymond. This is not, this is not the Oklahoma City Thunder at the time when they had Russ, KD, and Harden. This is not the same era of basketball. This is the San Antonio Spurs team who have a superstar at Wemby. They got an all-star De'Aaron Fox. They also got Harrison Barnes, a veteran leader. They got a couple of rookies. They got Dylan Harper and a rookie who is playing really, really well. They got Stephon Castle, who is a rising star. He's not a superstar. He's not an all-star. He's going to be a rising star. But you look at how their team is constructed. Again, that's all built through the draft process. Okay? We always go back to the Oklahoma City Thunder, correct? OKC. The OKC way. What do? When they acquired SGA and they were able to get all those first-round picks, and look where that led to. Amen. Again, it's a process. It took time. OKC wasn't good overnight. It took time. But look how their roster is constructed. SGA, Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hardenstein, Alex Caruso, Lou Dort, Kason Wallace, Aaron Wiggins. The name goes on and on and on. They built it. It was a process. I get it. Jalen Williams is starting to become that all-star. But realistically, when you look at that team, 2 all-stars in SGA and Chet Holmgren, but it's not 2 superstars or 3 superstars. It's a team that has a bunch of fulfilled role players who can come in and increase, and there's no drop-off when those role players come in. So if you look at the Lakers, and if they try to get Giannis Antetokounmpo, realistically, how many guys are you going to be able to acquire when you're eating up in his contract alongside with Luka Doncic? Isn't the reason why heading to this offseason to have a proper plan is to have the right cap space to sign the necessary 3-and-D wing guys and a perennial big man because DeAndre Ayton, we understand, is not cutting it. Jackson Hayes is on that 1-year deal. Why are we trying, if this is going to be true, why is it try to be all in on Giannis Antetokounmpo? If these reports are true, you will not have enough space to build the necessary roster. This is not, again, this is not the big three. Okay, Lakers have their so-called big three in LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves. But look how we always go back to what? Look at the rest. Look at how the rest of the roster is constructed. The bench is not enough, and that's where Lakers dig themselves in a hole. Why is it that we need to try to add a superstar in Giannis? And again, I want to go ahead and just say this: I'm not against Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think he is a fantastic player. I think he does a lot of things great on the basketball court. I think he has also grown as far as offensively because he has been one of those guys that gets a rebound, he puts his head down, and he's going downhill and going straight to the basket. He actually has developed a little mid-range jump shot. He's starting to step out a little bit when it comes to the three-point ball. Defensively, he is good. His size is great. And I understand that's why a lot of people think there will be a good fit next with him and next to Luka Doncic. I don't believe that will be a good fit because I always go back to what with Giannis. I go back to that championship team when they beat the Phoenix Suns. It was him, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Brooke Lopez, Bobby Portis, all right, and then a couple other guys you can name on that roster. Chris Middleton, all-star. Drew Holiday, you can kind of be up and down. He's basically an all-star. But the rest of the team was constructed the right way to build around Giannis. Remember, Giannis is a guy that has the ball in his hands. All right. As his career started to go late, he's starting to do more off the ball. But he's a guy that's bringing the ball off the court sometimes. He's the one that with the ball in his hands that take guys off the dribble. You add him next to Luka Doncic, what is that? How are they going to try to hit that spacing? I know everyone's trying to think about the pick and roll game with Luka and Giannis. Great. Will it work possibly? Yes, it possibly could. It possibly could work with them in a two-man game. But again, how are you going to be able to get the rest of the roster constructed the right way if you have two guys like that who are going to take up a lot of the salary cap? You're going to not have no first-round picks. What has everyone been complaining about is that Lakers should try to hold on to their first-round picks and try to develop their guys. I know the Lakers have missed these past couple of years with Jalen Hood-Schifino. Dalton Connect has been a miss. All right? But the years previous of that, they hit on some guys. Caruso, Kuzma. They hit. It worked out in their favor in those years. So why go into the offseason and once again have that star-driven talent expectation when you can actually build a solid team and have a solid core and have got a lot of role players who could potentially help out this team? I know this offseason is not going to be fulfilled enough. It's probably going to be another year where the Lakers take that real huge leap. But if you go into it and say, hypothetically, you get a guy like Peyton Watson, you get a guy like him, or you can possibly get a guy like Lou Dort in the offseason, depending on how much his value is going to be. All right, now you're building towards something, and you get another good, solid big man. Okay, now you're building towards the right step, and you can still have your bench fulfilled. You want to have a complete team, not just two guys to rely on every single time. Why this notion of the Lakers need to have superstars? I always go back to Giannis when he was with Damian Lillard. He wanted Damian Lillard. He did, and he got Damian Lillard. I understand situations happen. Damian Lillard ended up getting hurt. Then how they handled that situation and trading him, and obviously Giannis Antetokounmpo was not happy about that. But it took them time. It took them time to find a rhythm, to find a sync. Damian Lillard is a guy who his game is a lot different from Luka Doncic. Let's get that straight. Damian Lillard is a guy who he has unlimited range. He loves to come off the pick and roll game. And that's why I kind of worked with him and Giannis a little bit. But you know what the frustrations and struggles came to with that Bucks team is that who is going to have the ball in their hands when it came to the last second shot? Giannis or Damian Lillard? Giannis is a guy who, I want to win games. I want to get to the basket. I'm going to win us a game. And Damian Lillard is another guy as Dame time. What is he always known for? Doing this. So the chemistry. It took time, but it didn't come with success. That story happened and it ran its course real quick. And that's what worries me when you pair up another superstar with another superstar and Luka. You pair up this superstar, Giannis, with another guy and Luka Doncic. You got to be able to build a whole team. That's why you see a lot of these other teams have success because it took time. It was a process, and they built the roster the right way. They weren't just going out there and getting, let me just get this superstar. Why? You have enough cap space. You have a plan around Luka Doncic. Try to do that. Build it with 3-and-D wings. Build it with big men. Build it with sharpshooters, guys who actually can shoot the rock. Build a team in that way. Don't go out there and try to get a guy like Giannis. I am not for it. And I know people are probably sitting there like, man, you're wild, man. Bring Giannis to this team right now. He will make this team instantly better. I guarantee you that is not going to be the case. I just don't see them pairing up that well with each other. Just the way their game is a little different. I know Giannis could do a lot of good things, and he can help Luka Doncic out on the defensive end of the floor with his deficiencies on that end. But I just feel like it's not a good mix. It is not a good mix. And I'm gonna dive in more to this. I see you guys in the YouTube chat, and I'm gonna read some comments off. Take a little break. I'm gonna breathe a little bit because I got me fired up with this episode. I'm gonna let my partners at Pachanga give you guys a quick word though.
At Pachanga Resort Casino, you can rock and roll, sip and slide, twist and shout. Play your perfect combination at Pachanga Resort Casino, official Indian gaming sponsor of the Lakers.
All right, what's going on? Welcome back to Lakers Talk Daily. I see you guys in the YouTube chat. Brian says Bucks turned down 4 first-round picks from the Warriors, and Lakers only have to give up 2. I don't know about that. And that's another thing, is that as long I get this philosophy that Lakers could potentially be all in this summer with for Giannis in the Milwaukee Bucks deal, is that how many assets do they really have to acquire a guy like Giannis? Besides those first-round picks, what type of player are they going to be willing to acquire? Because remember, Austin Reeves is going to be extension eligible this offseason. You really want to go away from Austin Reeves, who literally took one of the biggest leaps in this season? One of the biggest leaps. We literally were calling Austin Reeves an all-star by the way he was playing. He was legit killing guys early on the season before him having that hamstring injury. And you want to try to go away from him? Remember, every time we hear Austin Reeves' name get called, the city of LA embraces him. I'm not saying the city of LA won't embrace Giannis, but you have a good duo right there between Luka and AR. Why try to imitate what the Dallas Mavericks were doing when they had Luka and Kyrie? Get guys like that. I'll read another one off in the YouTube chat. Hands of Stone says Reeves does the same thing. DeAndre Giannis is a freak, size, athleticism, rebounds, and he's a great defender. Yes, Giannis Antetokounmpo is a walking double-double, and honestly, he's actually a really, really good facilitator because he does a lot of good things as far as when he gets to the basket and he gets into the paint. You know what that happens is that it comes like this, and all of a sudden he's able to kick out. But once again, look how I gave you guys the details of his contract, and I'm gonna just say it one more time. He is currently making $54 million this season. All right, in 2026, 2027, he is currently going to be making $58 million. Then he has a player option in 27, 28 season for $62 million. A player option that's eating up a lot into the Lakers' cap space. A lot into the Lakers' cap space to do what? To enhance the rest of the roster. We were sitting there literally bitching and complaining about why is Gabe Vincent, get rid of Gabe Vincent. Oh, why? What's going on, Rui? Why is he not consistent enough? Oh, I don't like the way DeAndre Ayton is playing. Why get rid of DeAndre Ayton? Why are we playing Maxi Kleber? It's like every single thing has been directed towards what? The Lakers' second unit. Vanderbilt, oh, he's a great defender, but he can't score. That is where we were at with this team. And that is the biggest worry going in, is that, again, if you try to get him, he's going to be eating up a lot of your salary cap space. Kyle Cruz in the YouTube chat says, DeAndre, I think a team like Houston can go for it and pair him up with KD. I'll tell you right now, Kyle Cruz. I almost call you Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Cruz. Um, I don't necessarily think Houston would do that. Houston's more in need of a point guard. They were without Fred VanVleet. They are without Steven Adams. They're more defensive heavy. They need more offensive guys. Giannis Antetokounmpo is not someone that necessarily enhances their offense up like that as far as what the Houston Rockets have on their team. So I respect it. I see that. I appreciate you in the YouTube chat. But Houston trying to get a guy like Giannis, I don't think that's necessarily a thing in their favor. And I'm gonna read one more thing off before I get more into this. Is Venice Beach Sports says Giannis plus Luka is a bad cocktail. Their personalities don't mix, especially if the team is losing. So that's another thing that leads me just into this, is that we were debating about this on the DeMarco and Travis afternoon show. Is as soon as LeBron James leaves, if he does leave, remember Lakers are open for him returning to Los Angeles. If LeBron were to go to Cleveland, everyone has been bringing up the conversation as far as who is going to be the leader of this Lakers team. And all eyes point forward to who? Luka Doncic, of course, right? As it should be. He's a superstar. He's going to lead this team. And I try to get them to understand that this guy, Luka Doncic, is not one of those who is very expressive like this. As far as in the huddle and talking to guys, he leads by his play, his firiness, chirping at guys on the opposing team. He leads by that. And I feel like him being a leader is more of him actually doing what? On the other end of the floor, setting the tone on the defensive end and looking at his guys saying, if I'm in a defensive stance and I'm keeping my guys in front, you guys, I have that expectation that you guys need to be doing the same damn thing. So everyone was debating that who is going to be that guy if Luka Doncic is not vocal. And so this leads me into right what Venice Beach Sports said as far as Giannis and Luka is a bad cocktail. Their personalities don't mix. Have you been seeing how Giannis has been lately with the Milwaukee Bucks in his as post-game pressers? It's been a lot of pointing the fingers towards someone else. I understand it could possibly be that he hasn't been happy with the way the Milwaukee Bucks has been orchestrated and how they've handled their business, moving on from Damian Lillard and trading away. And they thought getting Miles Turner was going to be in their benefit and pairing him next to Giannis Antetokounmpo. Remember, Miles Turner spaces the floor out. That still does not clog up the driving lanes for Giannis Antetokounmpo. And they found out real quick that the rest of the roster was not to what it needs to be in favor of Giannis. And real quickly, we started to see the frustration brewing up with him. Remember all the different reports as far as, yeah, I know, I'm just taking it day by day. I'm just taking it day by day. And then going out the following week talking about, yeah, we got a lot of selfish players on this team. I can't, I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what he said is, yeah, we're playing selfish basketball. Guys are not moving the rock. Guys are thinking that they can take over games without spacing or, providing, the necessary needs to help this team out. Their personalities will mesh well because what does Luka Doncic go into post-game pressers? He always takes accountability for himself. Yeah, I got to do a better job. I got to get more involved. I got to play better defense. It's always me. It's always himself, and he directs it to we. I got to start. It starts with me, and we as a team will get better at this. Look at those two different types of personalities, which I get it. It works out. It works out as far as the fireness of Giannis and the different side of Luka Doncic. But two of those personalities meshing well with this Lakers team, I just don't see it working out well. And I really want to take one more deep dive into this before I meet more of you guys' chat, more of you guys' comments in the YouTube chat, because you guys are on fire today. And I just don't see it working as far as Luka Doncic needs the ball in his hands a lot, all right? Especially when he has Austin Reeves, they're still working out those things as far as the spacing, as far as, all right, how are we going to draw up this offense for Luka Doncic to come off this? Remember, JJ Redick was saying we want to try to figure out how to get Luka Doncic playing off the ball more, right? So you put Giannis in a pick and roll game with Luka Doncic. It could work, but all of a sudden the paint's going to be like this. All right. And if Luka Doncic is in a pick and roll game with a different big man and Giannis Antetokounmpo is on the basketball court, a lot of teams don't do what? They don't respect Giannis as far as a three-point shooter. So all of a sudden, what does Luka Doncic like to do? He likes to get into the driving lanes. He likes to have that long threat. And if teams do this, he's able to do this. What? Kick out. If Giannis Antetokounmpo, just saying, is on the court with another big man, a big man that can't shoot, and honestly, let's just take in consideration that it could be DeAndre Ayton, look how that spacing will be, depending on what other guys they add on the wings. Just imagine that spacing. Imagine that. Again, I know it could work because Giannis Antetokounmpo can turn it up a different level as far as the transition, which the Lakers lack in. They don't do a good job of getting out and running. They have gotten better as the second half of the season approached. But that's where I get worried at. There's no question that he can help him out on the defensive deficiencies that this team has and his ability to rebound. I just don't see it because they both need the ball in their hands. And honestly, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but this is just me, and I'm just not for it. I am not for that notion of building superstar. You have one superstar, you got an all-star in Austin Reeves. Build around that. The product can be good. You just got to have a proper plan, the right 3-and-D wing guys, a real versatile three-point shooter, and a big man who can get out on the lob and actually roll into the same spot that Luka Doncic is throwing the ball to, DeAndre Ayton. That's where I'm at. You have a real plan. Stick with that plan. Stick with that plan right there. So I see David. David in the YouTube chat says, get Dort and Hartenstein this offseason with Luka and AR. You know what? I wouldn't mind that at all. Lou against Dort, we just seen what he did the other night, a couple weeks ago against the LA Lakers, and his physicality, him bumping guys, especially LeBron James, real physical. He's okay three-point shooter. He's still developing in that. But can you imagine adding his defensive intensity to a team like the Lakers? And then you add a workhorse in Isaiah Hartenstein, who is always getting second chance opportunities, a really good rebounder, and he has a soft touch around the rim when he rolls, and he has a nice float game when he gets 2 feet inside the paint. That is something that is building towards the right direction. If you can get something like that, that is the ideal way to build around Luka and AR, not getting another superstar, which can potentially lessen the other moves you can make. And let alone, we also got to think that the assets the Lakers don't have to actually acquire Giannis. I'm just thinking that if they were, and if they are going all in, then they're telling me that you don't have another plan. That's all that it's telling me. So Brian in the YouTube chat says, with the NBA now being a young man's game, going after an aging star ain't the way to go anymore. Giannis is in that weird position. I do believe he's 30, 31 years old. I'm going to look that up real quick. I get the where you're coming at as far as aging superstar. Giannis is still at his really all-time. He's still at a really all-time great. He's still at that age where he's 31. So he's not old. He's still in a good time. He's not aging. But I do get where you're coming at because that's just how the way it is now. You are right as far as it's a young man's game. Every single team in the Western Conference is basically pretty much in the younger ages of their team. OKC, San Antonio, Denver still got a couple young guys. Houston, I know they got Kevin Durant, but they still got a young guy and Amin Thompson. They got Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, another guy Lakers should try. Another guy that they should try to go out and get, and Tari Eason, because I know that he's been lingered and targeted for the Los Angeles Lakers. But I do get where you guys are coming from as far as there's no way the Lakers should try to get Giannis, because that means what? Get rid of Austin Reeves. And I don't think, and I'm actually really high on Austin Reeves. I don't think this is the moment to try to move on like that, because Lakers have moved on from a lot of guys and it bit them right where. We all understand that, and you guys know exactly who I am talking about. Who they have moved on from quite a few guys. But, man, This is great. I really appreciate you guys in the YouTube chat. Man, it was a really good episode. Really, really grateful. I'm going to say this one last time. There's no need to try to pair up a superstar with another superstar. Build and get younger. What have we been saying all season? Young, athletic guys. You're not getting younger by getting Giannis. I know he's still playing really, really good basketball. But remember, that is what the Lakers need to have their angle towards heading into this offseason. Second half of the NBA season is here. The Lakers got the Los Angeles Clippers tomorrow. For myself, my guys in the back and the social team, and you guys in the YouTube chat, thank you once again for always tuning in and supporting your boy. I'll be talking to you guys tomorrow. Lakers need to get that win to start the second half of the NBA season off right. I'll be talking to you guys tomorrow. We out.